Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And again, I am Juan representing the defense, Dalton Fisher, and the Smithville School District. As you may recall, at the start of the case, I came before you and talked about the devastating impact of what this could do to Dalton Fisher. This case is very important, and your decision will change a man's life. The judge will later explain to you the significance of the case, and he will also explain to you the legal elements of this case. He will explain to you something called the safe harbor inference. The safe harbor inference would let the jury infer that the defendant was not negligent. This means that the jury would go into deliberation inferring that we were not negligent. We do deserve this safe harbor inference. We deserve it because, as the judge will explain to you, we must have proved that we adopted and complied with reasonable supervision policy, that we provided adequate training on this policy, that teachers and personnel were trained properly, that we provided adequate notice on this policy and how it will be implemented to parents and guardians, and we must also show that we complied with reasonable parent requests. Lastly, we must prove that the policy was followed in this case. We indeed did do all of these things. Thus, we should be entitled to the safe harbor inference. As you may recall, one of our expert witnesses was Jameson Manning. He proved that we adopted reasonable supervision policy. He proved that we complied with reasonable parent requests. And he also proved that policy was followed in this case. But even if we don't get the safe harbor inference, which we are not conceding, we believe that we should get the safe harbor inference. But hypothetically, even if we don't get the safe harbor inference, we still should receive a favorable verdict because the other side, the plaintiff, did not meet all the elements that they had to. To prove negligence, they must have had to prove that there was a duty, a breach, approximate cause, and damages. They had to prove these four things, and they did not. They clearly did not prove that there was approximate cause, because as the judge will explain to you, we do not have the burden of proof, the plaintiff does. And it's called preponderance of the evidence, which means that you must conclude that the plaintiff was 51% or more responsible for them to get a favorable verdict. The plaintiff fell short and did not do this. After hearing all of this evidence, it should be very easy to make the right decision. It should be easy to make the right decision because, as the evidence strongly suggests, Pat Reynolds acted foolishly and irresponsibly. This was the second time that Pat had been on this trip. Peyton Reynolds sent his son Pat on the school-provided trip to a youth leadership conference. On the trip, Pat and his roommate left the hotel and Pat fell off the wall. This was the second time that Pat had been on the trip. He should have known the rules, and he should have known that he should not have left the hotel. Common sense suggests that, all of the facts and testimony suggest that he was sneaking out to a party. He should have known better than to leave the hotel. Now the plaintiff claims that Pat had to leave the hotel because his stomach hurt. But as you may recall, there were very visible vending machines right outside of Dalton's room, which the plaintiff alleges that their son went and visited. There were also various opportunities to get food or buy food. And this was also Pat's second time on the trip, so he should have known how the food situation was going to be and been more prepared. But this all but proves the fact that they were sneaking out to a party. There was nothing that Dalton could have done to prevent this. This is not Dalton's fault. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a very simple case that has been laid before you today. On one side, we have an irresponsible kid who broke the rules. And on the other side is a very hard-working chaperone and a very responsible school district who did everything in their power to prevent this from happening to Pat. I ask for you to find a finding of no liability and a finding of favorable to the defendant, Dalton Fisher. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for your time today. Thank you.